Well, hi there. This is Scott Duffy, and in this video, I want to do a side-by-side comparison between AWS and Azure. We're going to log into the portal, into the management console of each platform, and show you a couple of the different features side by side so that you're going to be able to see how this is affected within AWS and how to do the same thing within Azure. Now, before we get too far into it, I do want to say that I have a free PDF for you, a free download. If you go to sjd.ca/AWS-Azure, you'll be able to get this PDF download for yourself. It contains side-by-side comparisons between the AWS services and the Azure services across security, networking, storage, compute, database. And so we can see, on AWS it's called EC2, or on Azure Compute it's an Azure VM. And I do that for around 30 or 40 different services between the services. So if you want to have this handy guide when you're working in AWS as an Azure person, or you're working within Azure as an AWS person, download this PDF for free. All you got to do is come to my website, sjd.ca/AWS-Azure, and it'll ask you to enter your email address and your name, and just say, send me my guide, and I'll send it to you gladly. Now, before we start along that, let's talk about the free accounts that you can get. So Microsoft Azure has a free account that you can get. It is a 12-month free account, and there is a special promotion for the first month. It is azure.microsoft.com/en-us/free. I think you can also Google Azure free account. And you can see on screen, you get a 12-month free account, and you get $200 in US dollars credit for the first 30 days. And that allows you to get some of the more expensive virtual machines, use some other of the storage, databases, etc. within the first 30 days. And then you can transition, if you want to continue on with the free account, into the 12-month promotion. So what can you do with the Azure free account? So Azure provides not one, but two virtual machines, which are the infrastructure as a service offering within Azure. You can have a Linux virtual machine for 750 hours a month, which is an entire month. And then you can have a Windows virtual machine for 750 hours a month. So that's two VMs for free for 12 months, plus the $200 credit for the first month. If we go over to AWS, aws.amazon.com/free will take you to this free tier page. And there's a very similar offering, but not exactly the same. So AWS doesn't have the credit in the first month, although there is some short-term free trials for some of their products, but it's mostly the free 12-month plan. And then there's some things that are always free after the 12 months. If we look down to the free tier details, we can see that AWS appears to offer one compute instance for 750 hours. So that's one of the differences. Is Microsoft offers two and Amazon offers only one. But we can see there are database hours and storage per month. Remember, the 750 hours is just basically an entire month. So that's a fairly comparable. You get storage, a small database, a couple of VMs, some bandwidth, etc. So go ahead and go to either azure.microsoft.com/free or aws.amazon.com/free. And then if you use that link to sign up for an account, you will basically get that free trial for the first year. Now, once you have an account, when you log into Azure, now yours might not look like this. This is a customized dashboard that I have. I'm going to switch over to a non-customized one. Let me just go to my test account here. So this dashboard at portal.azure.com is basically what you're going to see when you log in for the first time. It's basically this is the home page. It has some quick links to some of the services and to see if you've got any recent resources. Now, Azure also supports a customized dashboard where you can basically set up a bunch of tiles and customize this. So there is a way, there's a way to drag things around, add tiles, customize your experience here. On the AWS side, it is console.aws.amazon.com. And you can see that they have this standardized homepage that shows the services that I use, all the services, and then some quick links to launch a virtual machine or build a web app, etc. Okay, so AWS does not have this sort of customized portal that Azure has, although I guess they do have the recently used services that could be in here. Now let's talk about some of those services. I'm going to switch back quickly to my default directory. Let's talk about some of those services. So within the Azure side, it's important to note that resources are organized into what's called resource groups. Now, AWS does not have a comparable thing to resource groups. So if I look at a resource group within Azure and I go into one of my random ones, you can see that inside of that, there's a virtual network and a storage account. So these are separate resources organized into this folder structure, which is a resource group. On the AWS side, AWS deals with tagging. They use a tag metaphor to so you can organize all your resources. So if you have hundreds or even thousands of resources, then you tag them appropriately, and in that way you can find them, you can organize them, you can figure out how much they're costing, etc. Manage them in bulk. Now, Azure also does have a tagging option. So if I go into one of my resources, I can see it has a tags option within the overview, and then I can basically add customized tags. So Azure supports both tags and resource group. In order to create a resource, we're going to go into the Create a Resource button, which is the top left here. Now, this whole menu along the left on Azure is customizable. It uses a favorites metaphor, and any one of these things I can add and remove from my favorites as quick links. We look at compute options. Microsoft has what's called a virtual machine. So the virtual machine that I previously said is a compute of infrastructure as a service. It looks, acts, feels, smells, and tastes like a server that you have installed in your local environment. On the AWS side, the virtual machine is EC2, right? Elastic Compute Cloud. And so you can create an instance of EC2. AWS does have their AMI, Amazon Machine Image, which allows you to go through the marketplace, find companies that are providing virtual machine instances, or you can choose from the official Amazon instances. On the Azure side, similarly, you can also choose from any one of the standard instances, which are either Windows or Linux, or go into the public marketplace, and there are literally 1,000 plus virtual machine images to choose from, and you can just do some searching and find them. So there's a very similar metaphor system here. Now, unfortunately, this video is limited in length, so we are running out of time here, but I will mention a couple more going back to the homepage of both. So a network in AWS is called a VPC, right? Virtual Private Cloud. And basically, it's a private, isolated way to organize your resources. It is equivalent of a network. It does have subnets. You can do routing. If you go into Azure, then that's under networking. So if I go into all services networking, it's called virtual networks. Okay, so that's the equivalent of a VPC. And it even has the same concepts of subnets and routing and peering and things like that. Another thing to talk about are databases. Azure has a number of SQL Server databases. In fact, if I go into all services, into databases, we can see that there is Azure SQL Database, and also called SQL Database. That is the functional equivalent to RDS, which is the relational database service within AWS. And so if you need a SQL equivalent database, RDS and Azure Database is the one. Now, Azure also supports hosted options of MySQL, PostgreSQL, and MariaDB. Now, these are relational databases that Microsoft will run for you as a service. If you're looking for something less structured, a NoSQL database in AWS will be DynamoDB, and in Azure is Cosmos DB. Anyways, I'm out of time here. I'd love to tell you more about this. So come on over, go to sjd.ca/AWS Azure. And on that page, you can download your own PDF that shows you the comparison between the two. I also have a longer video, 25-minute video, discussing the side-by-side comparisons that is longer than I'm able to get into right in this place. So thank you, and hope to hear from you soon.